Hello, my dear friends. This is Rajesh Mahapatra. I hope all of you are doing well and happiness. In this session, I'll be telling you about the concept of Docker as a containerization platform. I'll explain more details about Docker, how do you create a Docker file, Docker image, and Docker container. Apart from this, I'll show you in the lab how do you set up a Docker environment in Google Cloud Platform so that you can easily understand it and you can implement it in your project based on your requirement. Let's get started. Guys, in this session, I am going to explain you about the concept of Docker. First of all, I'll explain what is Docker, what is Docker file, what is Docker image, and how do you create a Docker container in Google Cloud Platform. As you can see here, first of all, you can create a Docker file, then build a Docker image and store inside the Docker registry or Docker hub. After that, you can create a Docker container using Docker images. After successfully create a container, then you can deploy in any multiple environment like dev, UT, pre-prod, staging, production and more. Let's discuss all so that you can easily understand it and based on your requirement you can implement it. Guys, first of all we'll discuss what is Docker. Docker is a containerization platform that packages your application and all its dependency together in the form of a Docker container to ensure your application works seamlessly in any environment like dev, staging, UAT, production environment. Guys, you know why Docker container are required in real world? Because all the dependency file and packages are present throughout the software delivery lifecycle. All environment are same like dev, QA, UAT, production so that you can deploy your application easily. Docker container are similar to virtual machine but they are more lightweight and efficient. Virtual machine create a complete operating system environment while Docker container are share a underlying operating system kernel. This makes Docker container more efficient and lightweight. It also makes it easier to manage multiple containers on the same host. They include everything that an application needs to run, including the code, runtime, system tools, system libraries, and setting. This makes it easy to deploy application to any environment, regardless of the underlying infrastructure. Docker container can be deployed to any environment that has Docker installed, regardless of the underlying infrastructure. This makes it easy to deploy application to production, staging, development environment. Docker containers are lightweight and efficient, which can save resources and improve performance. Docker containers are isolated from each other, which helps to prevent security and vulnerability. Guys, Docker container can be scaled off or down quickly, easily to meet the changing demand. These are the basic, guys, advantage of Docker so that Docker can be used in the real world application for easily deploy application inside the multiple environment like dev, UAT, production and more. Guys, let's discuss about what is Docker image. It is a file of instruction which is used to create container. As you can see here, a Docker file. It is a text documents that contains all the command line to assemble an image. Docker file is a text file which provide instruction to build a Docker image. Using the different Dockerfile command like from, add, run, copy, cmd, maintainer, env, entry point, work directory, expose to create a Docker image. You can create a Docker image from scratch using these commands. Guys, as you can see here, the Docker container. Container are the runtime instance of a Docker image. For an example, guys, in the Java programming language, object are the instance of class. Similarly guys, here container are the runtime instance of a Docker image. Docker containers are similar to virtual machine, but they are more lightweight and efficient. As you can see here, in Docker container, the base is the host operating system. Top of the host operating system, a Docker engine or a container engine is available. Top of the Docker engine, the dependency file and packages available, and top of that, as you can see here, you can deploy your application. Guys, the advantage of Docker container is we no need to pre-allocate any memory or disk space to the container. It will take memory according to the application needed. This is the biggest advantage of Docker container. Performance is very fast as compared to VM or virtual machine. All platforms are same like dev, UAT, QA, prod, pre-prod. Now guys, I hope so. Now you can understand what is Docker, what is Docker image, and what is Docker file, and what is Docker container. As you can see here, these are the simple command can be installed in Google Compute Engine or a Linux VM. As you can see here guys, the sudo apt get update. This is the first command to update the packages or dependency file on new Linux server. After that, you can install the Docker sudo apt install docker.io. After successful install the Docker command, you can verify the Docker version so that you can easily identify in which versions of Docker are installed inside the new Linux server. After successful install the Docker in the Linux VM, then you create a Docker file using the Docker file command. After that, you can execute that Docker file using the command as you can see here. Then you can create a container. Guys, as you can see here, all the commands I'll show you in the lab so that you can easily understand it. And in another ways also guys, you can pull the existing image from the Docker hub to create a Docker container based on your requirement. Guys, as you can see here, this is a new Docker file. I have used different Docker file command for creating a custom Docker image. Let's discuss all the command, then you can easily understand it. Guys, first command is from. This command can be used to define your base image on which you can build your custom image. This is the first command for creating a Docker file. Maintainer, the person who is going to maintain this image. Run command, it is used to install your required software, packages and more. Copy command, it is used to copy the new files or directory from source and add all the files and folder in the container path or destination path. Work directory, the work directory instruction in a Docker file set the current working directory for subsequent instruction in the Docker file. Expose command, as you can see here, it is a Docker file instruction to inform that the image created by this Docker file will listen on this port when running a container. Guys, and couple of Docker file commands also available. I will explain more details about our Docker session so that you can easily understand it. Guys, as you can see here, these are the prerequisites required for create a Ubuntu Linux server using the GCP console portal. Guys, let's switch to the GCP console portal so that I'll show you the demo. How do you install your Docker inside the Linux server, and how do you create a Docker file, and how to execute that Docker file to build a Docker image. After that, you can create a Docker container. Guys, as you can see here, this is the Compute Engine web portal. First of all, I'll create a new Linux server. Then you can click create instance button here. Then after that, you can configure the new Linux server information detail here. As you can see here guys, I added the name of the Linux server as Docker new server so that you can easily identify it. I selected as region as US Central 1 and zone as US Central 1A, and the machine series is E2 as I selected here. As you can see here, the machine type is E2 medium. Then click on change here guys, then guys you can select the Ubuntu operating system here, then click on select. As you can see here guys, now image type is Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. Then scroll down and then you can select the firewall rule for allow HTTP traffic and allow HTTPS traffic to your new VM. Then guys click on advanced option. As you can see here, I selected as default VPC and default subnet here because I don't have any private VPC here now, and rest of the field guys you can leave as it is. Then click on create button here and wait a couple of seconds to create your new Linux server. Guys, as you can see here, the new Linux server Docker new server is successfully created here and the status is showing us this instance is running now. Then you can connect your new Linux server, then select your desired Linux server here, then click on SSH, then click on open in browser window and wait a couple of seconds. Now guys, you can click on authorize here. As you can see here, the new Linux server is successfully connected here guys. Now first of all you can update your dependency and package for your new Linux server. Then write the command as sudo apt get update and wait a couple of seconds. It will complete all the packages and dependency file for your new Linux server. As you can see here, it is successfully completed here now. Then press Ctrl L. Now guys, I'll install the Docker in the new Linux server. As you can see here, this is a simple command guys, sudo apt install docker.io, then press enter, then write y and then press enter. It take couple of seconds to install the Docker inside your new Linux server. As you can see here, the Docker is successfully installed inside the Ubuntu new Linux server. Now guys, I'll verify the Docker version. This is the simple command guys, sudo docker --version. As you can see here, the new version of Docker as 24.0.5 is successfully installed inside that Ubuntu new Linux server. Now guys, I'll create a new Docker file. I am using here guys as the VI editor. If you familiar with Beam, Nano, whatever is your favorite editor, you can use there guys. But now I am using the VI editor for creating a Docker file here. then press I here. Guys, as you can see here, this is the Dockerfile command as I mentioned here. First command is from the base image is Ubuntu, then update the server. I am using the run command here, then apt get update and install the required packages. Then guys, same command I am using here, run apt install nginx-y. Then work directory, as you can see here, the set the working directory up and copy all the current directory content and the paste inside the container app folder. So that I am using here copy command here. Copy dot is represent for current directory guys, and the expose command, it will expose the port for the container. Now guys, I'll escape and save the Docker file here. As we can see here, this is your Docker file guys. Now I'll use this Docker file to build a new custom Docker image. Then I can use the Docker build command here guys. Sudo docker build dot represent for current directory guys, hyphen t represent as tag. Then mention your new custom image, my first image. This is the name of the image guys. Then I'll add the tag version as 1.2. Then press enter and wait a couple of seconds guys. It will successfully install inside the Ubuntu Linux server. As you can see here guys, it is successfully executed and create a new image as my first image. As you can see here, this is the custom image guys. Now how do you verify your new custom image? Then use the docker command as sudo docker images. This is the simple command guys. As you can see here, this is my custom image name, my first image, and the tag as 1.2. and guys, as you can see here, this is the Ubuntu as I take for the base image. Now guys, I'll show you how to create a Docker container using your custom image. Then guys, you can use the docker run command to create a new container. Then command is like guys, sudo docker run -d -it, then double hyphen name. It represents the name of your container. Now my container name is my first container and space, then p. If you want to expose any port number in your container, then you can expose here. For an example, I'll add the port number 80 here. Then you can add is your image name guys here or image id. Then you can add your tag name as you can see here. Now guys, this is the simple command guys, sudo docker run -d -it. This is the daemon mode and interactive. I'll explain for our upcoming Docker session in more detail guides. Then press enter. Guys, as you can see here, the Docker container is successfully created here. Now you can verify is your container. Then use the command as sudo docker ps As you can see here, this is your new container name and my first container is successfully created here. The status is showing as off. It means guys the container is successfully running now. Guys, this is the another command docker ps-a. Just as you can see here, sudo docker ps-a, it represents all the details about your container. Now guys, as you can see here, my first container is running now. As you can see here, the status is off. If you want to stop the container, then write the command as sudo docker stop container name or container ID. It will take couple of seconds guys to stop the container. Now just I'll verify the container status. Guys, as you can see here, the container status are showing as exited. It means guys the container is stopped now. Now guys, if you want to start the first container again, then the command is like that guys, sudo docker start the container name, my first container, then check the status of the container. As you can see here, the 5 second the status is off now guys. Similarly guys, you can start, stop and restart the container based on your requirement. Now guys, I hope so you can understand how do you create a image and how do you create a container using custom image. Guys, in another ways, if you want to pull the image from Docker Hub, and guys, all the existing Docker images are already available inside the Docker Hub. If you want to pull the Docker image from Docker Hub, then use the commands as sudo docker pull the name of the images. For an example, I'll add here the sudo docker pull nginx, then press enter. As you can see here, the nginx latest tag downloaded from the Docker Hub. Now guys, I'll verify. As you can see here guys, the nginx latest tag is successfully downloaded from Docker Hub to our new Linux server. If you want to create a new container using the nginx image, then same command you can use guys here. As you can see here guys, I'll change the port number here and I am using the nginx image here guys, then press enter. As you can see here, the second container, the name of the container is nginx container is successfully created here guys. Now verify the docker status. As you can see here guys, the status of the container is off here. If you want to remove or delete is your container, then write the command as sudo docker rm, the name of the container. For an example guys, I want to delete the nginx container, then press enter. Now the container is successfully deleted here guys. Just verify the status. There is no the nginx container is available here guys. Similarly, if you want to remove the another container guys, see the name of the container is my first. then press enter. My first container is successfully deleted here guys. Here guys, only one container is running here now. The container, as you can see here, the my first container. Now guys, I hope so you can understand how do you create a custom image and how do you write a Docker file. After that you can use the Docker file to create your own custom image. After that you can create your own container based on your requirement. If you want to pull the existing image from Docker Hub, then you can use the command as docker pull and name of the image. And if you want to add the tag, then if you can add it, then you can create a new container using your pull image. Thank you guys and have a nice day.